In this video, we're going to take a look at how to conduct a hypothesis test using a t-test statistic. The problem itself is set up very similarly to the ones for Z. It reads, the mean age of graduate students at a university is at most 31 years. A random sample of 10 graduate students is taken, and then you're given the data. And it asks, are the data significant at the 10% level of significance? One of the reasons that we know this is a one mean t-test is that in this particular scenario, you are not given in the story the population standard deviation. You may say, well, I'm not given any standard deviation. That's true, but you do have the raw data that we could enter into the calculator and determine the standard deviation and the mean for the sample. So this is a one mean t-test because the population standard deviation is not known or not given. And in this case, we could calculate the sample standard deviation if we need it in the problem. The next question says to state the hypothesis, which is our hypotheses, which is the first step in any hypothesis test. And in this case, our hypothesis is the mean age of graduate students is at most 31 years. So here again, you got to think about what the phrase at most means. At most, mathematically, would mean at most means it is less than or equal to, in this case, 31. So again, hopefully that makes you think of the symbol less than or equal to, so that statement is actually your null hypothesis. And we're going to say the mean is less than or equal to 31 or at most 31. The alternative is the exact opposite, so it's going to be that the mean is greater than 31. Then in the next step, we want to identify the information from the problem. We have the population mean, which is mu, is the value in the hypothesis, and in this case is 31. The level of significance, in the last statement it says 10% level of significance, and it also tells us we have 10 graduate students. So we have n is 10 and alpha is 0.10 when you write it as a decimal. Now the two pieces you don't have are the standard deviation and the sample mean. So what we can do to find those, we have the raw data. We can take this raw data that we have, and I'm going to copy it, highlight it and copy it, and we can put it into our calculator that we used before from Calculator Soup, and it should calculate our mean and standard deviation along with the other descriptive statistics. So when I put it into Calculator Soup, it tells me that the mean is 34.7 and the standard deviation is 5.334. So I can fill that in on my chart. Okay, so my mean is 34.7 and the standard deviation is 5.334. Then it asks us to identify whether we have a one-tailed test or a two-tailed test. Remember, to make that decision, just as we did for the z-test, we're going to look at the alternative hypothesis. This alternative hypothesis contains greater than. So again, in this case, it is a one-tailed test. Then I need to calculate the t-test statistic and the corresponding p-value. And again, for these two questions, we're going to use either the calculator or the website. And again, the website's fairly easy to use. So I'm going to go out to the website. And for the t-test calculator, we put in the population mean, which is 31. Our level of significance was 0.05, and it was a one-tailed test. And then we have to put in our sample data. Now, we have to enter the data going down, so I have it listed kind of in an improper way. So let's see if I can kind of finagle it here a little bit. Okay, so taking me just a minute, so hang on. You could just retype it. And I probably need to get rid of the commas beside each one. Okay, otherwise it's probably not going to like me. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We got the 10 values in there. So again, it's easier for you probably just to straight out type them. We put in the population mean, the significance level, and the type test, and we calculate. And it gives us the t-value and the corresponding p-value. So my t-test statistic is 2.19. Let's see. Can't remember it all. 3402. Whoops. 3402. My corresponding p-value, again from my calculator, is 0.02797. Okay, so my p-value is 0.02797. Then I'm going to compare the p-value to alpha. P is 0.02797. Alpha is 0.10. In this case, 0.02797 is less than the 10% significance level. So that means we're going to reject the null hypothesis. And then in the last step, we write our conclusion. Okay, so again, you have to think about how to write it. You always want to include your significance level. So we say at the 10% significance level, and there's different ways to phrase it, but I would probably say the mean age of graduate students is not at most 31 years. And there's your conclusion.